Chris, you were on the team that brought Philly their first Lombardi trophy and their first Super Bowl victory. How did it feel watching the Eagles go out and do it again at the end of last season?
It felt so cool. Like as a fan, it was an effortless watch. Like it really was. Like the Packers game, there were some moments in there where it was slow going, and then obviously Matt Stafford being in it until damn near the final whistle, a little stressful. But the way the NFC Championship went, got to see that in person, and then Super Bowl, went out there, did my work, saw a lot of the guys. That was awesome, and then came back home to watch it, and I got to watch it on TV with my kids who love the Eagles. And it was like a party. I mean, it really was. I'm sure like watching our Super Bowl was stressful. Like watching this one, I'm sure was a lot different for fans. And I've got a ton of respect for that team. There's so many young players that stepped up for them, and they'll have to do it again this year, right? I mean, I thought Vic Fangio did a great job stabilizing that defense, and the offense being what it is. I was just so happy for guys like Lane Johnson. There's only a few of them that got to do both. Once you feel what it's like to win, I'm sure it's so hard to go back to anything less. And I know there were some years in there, a couple where it wasn't as easy. And so to get back to that mountaintop for those guys, I mean, just ecstatic for my friends, and for the guys that I barely knew. It feels like we're all in a fraternity now, which is really cool.
It's funny you mentioned a mountaintop, because I was just talking to Jordan Mailata in the locker room the other day, and I know Nick Sirianni is a big fan of, visual representations. And he said he showed them a mountaintop throughout last season. And this offseason, he showed them, a car in the rearview mirror with the Super Bowl in the rear view. And I know Jalen Hurts, Jordan Mailata, the entire team has really preached this. We're not looking back anymore. We're not talking about the Super Bowl. We're not defending Super Bowl champions, even though, they technically are. They don't want that to be their mindset. How realistic of a goal do you think that is? Having been in that position, having got into another season off of the Super Bowl, how do you prevent that from giving you a Super Bowl hangover?
Well, I can tell you it's very realistic. It's just a lot of teams don't do it. Most teams don't do it because it is very difficult. Realistic, like, yeah, it can happen. This team's way better than our 18 team. And we started 4-6, and we were on the doorstep of the thing. And, honestly, I think we could have played with anybody in that game. And we were a far from perfect team. I think you got to dig in and find what you found last year. You're a different team. And I love the thing that they're saying is like, hey, this is a different football team, which is true. Like nothing that team did last year makes a what on the field. It doesn't matter. If anything, it makes it harder because you have a target on your back. But as you get into the swing of things, and it took us a while, it's finding whatever we had, in the tank in 17, and being like, oh yeah, this is how we operated. And that's why it's so important to have a really good offseason and hit the ground running for a team that's defending a title like that. Listen, like since 2000, I think about half the teams that won a Super Bowl even win their division the next year. So it's not a guarantee that you even win your division. So you should start small as a team like that. Start 1-0, start 2-0. Take it 1 week at a time and think about the goals that you think about every year, because the year before you weren't thinking about defending a title. You were just trying to win every game, win your division. Then it's, hey, we want home games. And then, hey, once we're in the dance, you never know what can happen. And with a team like this, I have a feeling. So it is a mental thing, and there's a lot of young guys who are having a lot of success, but I think the veterans on this team are going to do a good job of keeping them grounded.
I mean, you mentioned winning the division. Dallas Cowboys, week 1 opponent for the Eagles at home. They get to watch the Eagles unveil that Super Bowl banner. At the link, Jordan joked and said he's just going to look down at the ground because they have to stick with that, stay focused mindset. But Cowboys obviously now without Micah Parsons. How do you feel about the Eagles? I mean, arguably their biggest divisional rival being their week 1 opponent. And how do you feel about that matchup coming into this week 1?
Division games are interesting early in the season, and juxtaposed to the fact that you get the Commanders late in the season twice. So for that team, who I believe is going to be in it for the division till the very end, it's going to be decided by those 2 games. Like both these teams can say, hey, our no matter what happens, like our goals are in front of us. The Cowboys, they're coming off of trading their best player a tumultuous offseason, which is kind of like the norm there. And a little turnover, new faces like George Pickens is going to be a tough cover. I mean, we're rolling out a new corner in Adoree Jackson. So there's a couple things that for Eagles fans, you're going to want to check off and say, like, listen, are we okay here? I think like watching Jihad Campbell, I mean, that dude's a stud. I'm watching him, but I want to see him play. Like, I want to see him play regular season football. It's a lot different. So there's things like that. Like, I've seen edge rushers make big plays. Like, obviously, Nolan, Hunt, those guys have done a great job. Ajomo's made plays, but now they're like stepping into roles where they're going to be expected to do that for 17 weeks. And that's a different thing. Like, when your depth, and Nolan obviously played a lot of snaps last year, and I'm not shortchanging these guys, but all of a sudden guys like Ty Robinson, who haven't seen NFL action, are going to be called upon to be last year's Jomo, and so there's just a whole new regime defensively that we're going to have to see play a little football. If you remember last year at the end of that Atlanta game, if you'd have pulled people outside the link, are we going to the Super Bowl? I think it would have been a pessimistic result.
Yeah.
Vic Fangio has been around a long time. He's going to develop the young guys. It might take a little bit of time, but I fully expect the offense to be able to stabilize the situation early in the season, especially against the Cowboys, who just lost their best rusher.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I want you to put yourself in the Eagles locker room ahead of this week 1 game against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
As a leader of the team, what are you telling the guys? Like, what are you telling them, both the young guys who, like you just mentioned, Jihad Campbell, the rookies, maybe guys even like Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, come in their rookie season and become world champions. Like, they haven't really faced a ton of adversity yet in their NFL careers. What are you saying to them going into this season?
Well, I think you take it 1 week at a time. I think certainly you talk to people about, hey, if I was able to be, a leader on this team, having had been, an elder statesman on the last one, I'd be able to draw from my experience and say, hey, fellas, we started 4-6. Like, we came out the gate and got our butts kicked in Tampa. Like, it don't matter. This is the NFL. Like, any week you can get beat. And certainly when you're defending a title, you can get beat, just as easily. So I look at it like you give them the macro horror stories, but really it's about taking it 1 week at a time and executing. When you get into, like, when we're in week 1, I don't want to hear about last year. I don't want to hear guys talking about it. I don't even want to hear guys having to say, hey, we've moved on. Like, of course we have. It's Cowboys week. Like, that should be the tone. I don't want to hear coaches talking about nobody cares about last year. Like, just move on. Like, everybody move on. Don't use it as a motivational tactic. Don't have it hanging over your shoulder. Like, because a lot of times in the NFL, like, things become self-fulfilling prophecies where you're like, a lot of teams, they struggle the year after they win a Super Bowl, and then everybody gets tight and everybody presses. Keep it loose. Do what we did last year. Go out there like we've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, and play like we're hunting, not being the hunted. When you tell guys all offseason, hey, you're the hunted, you're the hunted, you're the hunted, there's a certain sense of paranoia that's healthy. But then on top of that, if it gets overboard, you start waiting around for that thing to happen, and then it compounds.
You say we, and obviously, you played for the Eagles. Before you played for the Eagles, you played many seasons for the Rams. You won the Super Bowl with the Patriots. Obviously won the Super Bowl with the Eagles. Just really quick, like, what is it about Philly that made you kind of lean into the fandom? Because it seems, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like you watch, as a fan as well as a former player at this point in your retired career.
I'm certainly a fan of the team. I'm a fan of the organization. I've said it a bunch of times, like, from a cultural fit, it was perfect for me. Having been with the team that, honestly, had they not moved from St. Louis, it's probably, hey, I've already retired a Ram and that sort of thing. But my time in Philly, I was kind of a player who was NFL homeless, and I didn't really have, like, a place to say, hey, I'm going to go take my kids back to games and stuff. And the Rams have been great. Like, they invited me to come out, legend of the game last year. They're doing it again this year because the Fires moved that one game and everything. So, it's not like a thing where I'm doing it intentionally. It's kind of the way my career wrapped. And I have, my folks went to school at Villanova. My wife's from South Jersey. I made a lot of roots there, and it just fit. Like, it's the type of place that if you work your ass off and you play hard and you're accountable, they're gonna like you, especially if the team's doing well. So I was lucky to be on teams like that. You know what I'm saying? But I would say this, like, when I watch the games, I have to be an analyst, and I can't. A lot of people accuse me of being a homer on my pod, but if you listen closely, I'll always give you the truth in there. It just might be with a little Eagle spin. And like, I make no bones about it this year. I think it's going to be hard to win this division. I think they can do it, and they will. But I'll tell you when I've got concerns, and I think when you got to replace a lot of people on defense, and the Commanders have made moves that tell me that they're confident in this window. Like, let's go get Tunsil, let's go get Debo. They draft Trey Amos at corner, and that's going to, they're raving about that guy. I worry about the pass rush for them. I think it comes down to those games that the Eagles play against the Commanders, and I think that the Eagles match up well in those games individually, so I expect them to win the division. But I don't think anything's easy. I mean, as we've learned before, they started 10-1 a couple years ago. New coordinators every year. It's the cost of doing business when you're a great team. So that's my assessment, and that's without the tinge of homerism that a lot of people accuse me of having. But I am a fan of the team, and that I have friends on the team. There's people there that I worked with. Eventually, I'll look up and there'll be nobody I know working there, but maybe Big Dom at some point in my life. And then it'll just be a fun place to take my kids back to games and say, hey, I remember that. That was cool. Like, when they have us back, that stuff's awesome.
Yeah. Well, you're raising your kids well, raising them as Eagles fans. Also, speaking of Big Dom, I got my first Big Dom cannoli offer during the second preseason game. It was like 100 degrees out, and he comes up to me on the sideline. He's like,
good.
Okay, I got a cannoli in the locker room if you need one after the game.
In the AC. Yeah. You don't want to eat a cannoli out there. It's like real feel 110 on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And Big Dom is still in the same fit that he wears when it's 0 degrees, when it's snowing, when it's 100 degrees. He's just always in the same getup. Yeah.
That dude must not sweat. He's incredible. He's a force of nature. I love Dom.
He truly is. All right. So tell me how you were spending Thursday, because you had something exciting going on down at the beautiful Borgata BetMGM Sportsbook.
Yeah, we're going to Sportsbook at Borgata in Atlantic City for BetMGM. Huge sponsor of the pod. We appreciate BetMGM greatly. Not for nothing. Your boy went like 70% on against the spread picks last year. So maybe fade me this year, but we're going to be giving out lines all year. And certainly we'll be talking gambling at the Borgata Thursday night. We're going to be doing a live show from the Borgata. We're going to be doing a live watch of the game, a little Q&A. I'll be up there with the green light team, but it'll be fun. I love AC. I love AC anyways, but the great thing about AC is it's a hell of a lot closer than Vegas. And for us East Coast people, that's good enough for me. And I love Atlantic City. I went there for a couple buddies' bachelor parties, went up there when I played for the Eagles, and I love the Borgata. So looking forward to it, and we'll have some fun. Hopefully see people down there.
Yeah, I wish I could be there. I'm usually actually at Borgata every Thursday night. I will not sadly, I'll be at the Eagles game, but you should.
What, are you playing the tables there, Devin?
What's that?
What, are you playing the tables every Thursday night? What do you got going on?
No, so I'm part of the WIP morning show. And
yeah, I know that. Okay.
Every Friday morning, for the last 2 decades, the morning show broadcasts from Borgata.
Do y'all really?
Yeah, and now
I was always getting yelled at in meetings while y'all were on doing your morning show. I was always getting yelled at in meetings, so I didn't know you guys were doing the Borgata show. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess 2 co-hosts will be down there. I won't be because I'll be at the link, but sounds like fun. I have FOMO from that watch party from your live pod already. I mean, what more could you ask for as a fan? Getting to watch the Eagles' first game with Chris Long. I mean, maybe
being on like the sideline at the link, but this is so.
That's true. I can't complain. I have no complaints. All right, Chris. Well, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And go Birds.
Go Birds.